Dricus Du Plessis defeats Israel Adesanya, but before I break down the fallout of UFC 305, make sure you subscribe as I have brand new videos every single week. So UFC Perth is over and Dricus Du Plessis had his first successful defense against Israel Adesanya. This was a close back and forth fight. In the first, DDP kept blitzing forward and couldn't quite get into range and couldn't take Izzy down. Izzy countered him, mixed it up well, went for big body shots and even cut DDP's head open. It seemed as though the old Izzy was back, but this changed quickly in the second. Du Plessis came out grapple heavy, getting 5 takedowns in a row and attempted to choke Izzy out without much success. In the third, it looked like all the wrestling tired Du Plessis out. All of his movements looked incredibly laboured, but Du Plessis always looks laboured and he always looks tired, so I don't think you can really put that against him because he still manages to pull it all off. But he got caught with a massive spinning elbow and I thought it was the beginning of the end there. Then the start of the fourth, Izzy came out strong, peppering Du Plessis up and stuffed the first takedown like it was nothing. And then DDP caught Izzy with a cracker and rocked him. And during all the commotion, Dricus took his chance, dragged Izzy down and choked him out in the fourth. I really didn't expect the fight to play out this way whatsoever. I thought Izzy was going to get the win here. He looked slick throughout the entire fight and he really looked like on good form, but Du Plessis showed how tough he is, how durable he is, and managed to get his first defense. What's interesting is though, Du Plessis has an incredibly weird style. His wrestling looks awful, his striking looks terrible, and he always looks gassed, but during all this madness he seems to find a way to get it done. In the co-main event, we had Steve Erceg versus Kai Kara-France. This started out a very slow, methodical round. Both guys seemed to be looking for their range, and Erceg seemed to be catching Kai as he was coming in and out and seemed ready for a big counter, but it was over incredibly quickly. Kai Kara-France caught Erceg with a big overhand. He smelt blood and kept chasing him down and got him out of there. The referee was forced to intervene and end the fight. And now we move on to my boy Dan Hooker facing off against Mateusz Gamrot. This was my fight of the night for sure. Great back and forth between both guys, a real war, but it didn't start well for Dan at all. Gamrot came out, clipped Dan early, took him down, whaled some big shots, cut him open, but Dan pulled it back near the end of the round. He managed to get up and started peppering Gamrot back. And in the second round, Dan showed great improvement in his takedown defense and managed to get his way back up and threw some big elbows in the clinches that caused a lot of damage. On the feet, Gamrot did keep clipping Dan, but Dan looked the cleaner striker. Like I said before, this was a close fight, but Dan managed to get the decision win. I was a little surprised with this though, because I felt Gamrot kind of controlled the fight, especially in the first and the second. He took him down a lot, he had a lot of control time, and he did drop Dan Hooker. But Dan always looked great at the end of each round, and that stays with the judges. If you finish strong, that can do really well on the scorecards, and he seemed to be getting a lot of damage out as well. But I'm not too angry about it, and I'm just glad to see Dan Hooker back in the win column and back at the top of the lightweight division, because there's a lot of fun fights for him here. From lightweight to heavyweight, Tai Tuivasa versus Rozenstruik. I love Tai. I'm a big fan of him, but he's just not good enough at this level. He doesn't progress his skill set enough. He's just a big dude who throws some big hands. Rozenstruik picked away at him for 3 rounds, though to be fair, I didn't expect this fight to go 3 rounds with big heavy hitters like Rozenstruik and Tai. I didn't expect it to even leave the first round, but Rozenstruik dominated the entire fight from pillar to post, though one of the judges gave all 3 rounds to Tai Tuivasa, and I was incredibly shocked by that, and it seemed as though the UFC higher-ups did as well, and that judge was taken off the rest of the cards. There's no excuses for judging that badly. It's a shame though that it's gone down for Tai like this, and I'm worried now that this might be the end of his career in the UFC. And opening up the card, we have Li Jingliang returning from a 2-year layoff due to a spinal injury, and I'm surprised the UFC gave him such a killer like Carlos Protas for his returning fight. Carlos dominated the entire fight and he kept hurting Lee consistently and dropped him multiple times, and it's such a shame because I think Li Jingliang is an incredibly well-rounded fighter. If he'd have just mixed things up a little bit and used clinch work, I think that could have been his pathway to victory, but he decided to stand with Carlos, and that was a big mistake. Carlos is faster, he's younger, he's stronger, he's got great KO power, and he's just a better striker, and he managed to get Lee out of there in the second round, and it's heartbreaking to see Li Jingliang go out this way. I'd have liked to see him return against a more seasoned fighter, someone like Tony Ferguson, Michael Chiesa. That'd have been a much better way for him to go out rather than getting flatlined by an absolute killer. But overall though, UFC 305 was a fun card, full of fun, exciting fights and plenty of finishes. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment and subscribe, it really does help the channel out.